In the NFL, sometimes greatness slaps you in the face, and sometimes it's like a slow-heating pot that suddenly had a rolling boil. In the ranks of great Seahawks wide receivers, from the GOAT Steve Largent to Brian Blades to Doug Baldwin to Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf has already earned his rightful place within this group. Metcalf's 5,332 receiving yards and 43 touchdowns through 5 seasons is the best start for any wide receiver in Seahawks history, including Largent. It's also one of the better starts to a career of any receiver in NFL history. Those 43 receiving touchdowns put him top 20 all-time through the first 5 years of an NFL career. Since entering the NFL in 2019, Metcalf has missed a grand total of 1 game. No matter how beat up, how mangled his feet, or sore his ribs, DK walks out onto the field every week ready to play his ass off. An insanely hard worker, you see and feel his effort on every play, even plays that have nothing to do with him catching the ball. The all-gas, no-brakes Russell Wilson interception against the Cardinals in 2020, where he tracked down Budda Baker before he could score, breaking the internet and creating a meme that's still heavily used. He sells his routes in the run game so expertly, he can take a cornerback completely out of the play and open the door for his running back to walk into the end zone untouched. A bully as a blocker. This past year, on the Browns' game-winning score using a bubble screen to Jackson Smith-Njigba, DK sealed his block to open up the outside path for Jackson to get in and the Seahawks to win the game. He is ferocious, intense, and plays angry as a blocker, sometimes committing to his job maybe a little bit too much. But as Mike Tomlin once said, I'd rather tell him whoa than sick him. Did I also mention he's as clutch as the referees for the Steelers in the 2005 Super Bowl? I bring up these accomplishments because there are a contingent of Seahawks fans who have a genuine lack of appreciation for DK's ability and production. Don't believe me? Here you go. These folks wish to trade DK for a variety of different reasons. Some want him traded for his perceived divaness, for which there is actually little proof. You get a situation like Fred Warner attacking the back of Metcalf's surgically repaired neck when DK is on the ground and away from the play. DK reacts to Fred trying to end his career, and somehow in these situations, he's the bad guy? We have no moment from DK like Travis Kelce in this past Super Bowl, roiding out and about to knock his elderly coach down on the sidelines. Yet at times, with the way these folks talk about DK, you'd think he'd have run over Coach Carroll with a Segway. Outside of some fiery moments of passion on the sidelines, not really directed at anyone, DK Metcalf has been an ideal teammate. Or as Bobby Wagner recently said about him,
he's been the best teammate too.
DK Metcalf.
Then there are the other slice of Hawk fans that are out on DK. They think it's a resource situation. Get trade capital back for Metcalf and reroute those assets to the line of scrimmage. This asinine approach was recently pushed by one of the morning sports radio hosts in Seattle. The Seahawks indeed do need to address their lines of scrimmage. They can do that by simply, actually investing resources into those positions. Whereas in recent years, they treat their lines of scrimmage like that house project you're going to get to this year. And we both know you're not going to get to it. Dumping DK Metcalf for offensive line neglect is like a climber selling all of your oxygen before trying to scale Mount Everest so you can afford to buy boots. Keep the oxygen and the boots. Another thing these resource people tend to forget is that DK would also carry a $23 million dead money hit if the Seahawks moved on from him this year. Another common slight on DK is that he doesn't produce enough for the money the Seahawks are paying him. That he drops too many passes for number 1 wide receiver. Well, on 119 targets to DK Metcalf last year, only 74 were charted as catchable balls that he converted into 66 receptions. The year before that, on 141 targets, only 101 were catchable that he converted into 90 receptions. He's made the most of what he's been accurately thrown. It's infuriating, this narrative, when you consider how often the offense inexplicably goes away from DK for no reason, only to go back to him at some point in the game to great success. The lack of targets come from an unimaginative offense that took all season and the first 4 years of his career to try to even attempt to use him in the slot. This has become exceedingly clear when you present stats like the fact the Seahawks last year targeted the middle of the field the least amount of any team in the NFL. Another indirect factor holding back DK's productivity is the Seahawks defense's inability to get off the field on a yearly basis. Last year, the Seahawks defense was first in the NFL in total snaps, third the year before that, and first again the year before that. If the defense is living on the football field, it's kind of hard for DK to get his catches. DK Metcalf is the great god of speed. He's made a habit of turning routine catches into highlight reel plays. Watching him streak down the field is like witnessing Batman, suited up at a track meet, leaving defenders in the dust and fans wondering if they've accidentally stumbled into a Marvel movie. He puts the fear of God in defenders every week and forces double teams as much as any receiver you'll find. Every game he shows up, everywhere you feel his impact. And now he has the rocket fuel needed to take this shuttle to orbit. The gas-powered engine is going nuclear. Ryan Grubb enters as the new offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. From the foundations of the air raid system, he promises a new offense that will seek better ways to feature DK Metcalf. The interesting wrinkle within Grubb's system is that there is still a heavy amount of shot plays scripted within, meaning DK's ability to take the top off the defense will still be ever ready. Coming out of college, many made the comparison between DK Metcalf and Lions Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson. The comparison through 5 years is still undeniably true. DK has more receptions, Calvin slightly more yards and touchdowns. Johnson also put up those numbers while his offense through those 5 years was usually top 5 for most total plays in football, affording him many more chances to make more catches. While DK's offenses the past 3 years alone have been 31st, 20th, and 32nd in the league in total number of offensive plays they've ran. In his short career, DK's only played in 4 playoff games, putting up 26 catches, 455 yards, and 5 touchdown receptions. When the day draws near that requires him to be great, when it's do or die and the lights are at their brightest, DK will stand tallest in more ways than one. DK Metcalf's time as a Seattle Seahawk has been nothing short of spectacular. His athletic prowess is perhaps only matched by his infectious personality, turning him into a constant source of entertainment for the 12th man, a great teammate, and a consistent producer on the football field. As Metcalf continues to redefine what it means to be a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, one thing is for damn sure. The man who just turned 26 years old has a much brighter future ahead than the one behind him. The sky remains the limit. The greatness of Metcalf has just begun. My name is Brandon Kane. This is the Hawks Nest. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. But beyond all that, don't you ever forget, go Hawks.